When Detroit Lions GM Brad Holmes speaks, I listen. And I know a lot of you people do as well. And he had an interview today with 97.1 The Ticket, and he discussed Jared Goff's potential contract extension, which we all assume will get done. And he had some great quotes that I want to go through, break down for you guys, and kind of give my thoughts on the Jared Goff extension. What does it mean? What is it going to look like? And what I would do if I'm Brad Holmes. And I want to kind of weigh in here. And you guys feel free, comment down below, give your thoughts on the situation and whether or not you believe it will get done before the season. And what does that contract look like? So let's get to some of the quotes he had. And I'm going to credit Pride of Detroit for this, kind of putting all his words to paper or to now a website, Pride of Detroit. They do a great job. And we'll break down some of the quotes. I'll go through it with you guys, and I'll try to dissect these quotes. So we'll start here with what he said in the beginning, and you see the quote here that Brad Holmes said to start off, and it was basically about Jared Goff's extension. Will it get done? And his response was basically it's something they're focused on, and they're hopeful will get done this offseason, which is important there. Which I think if you're going to get an extension done with a quarterback, you're not doing it after the contract's out. I think you don't want to have him hit free agency. So yes, it's going to get done this offseason. Holmes said he's earned an extension. It's important. It's a high priority for us. Both sides are working really, really hard. These things just take time. He also said, in a perfect world, we would have had all three of them done. Bang, bang, bang. But these things just kind of take a while, especially with the quarterback market. But I do have faith that it's going to get done. He also said there's some uniqueness there in some different areas, but still he's performed at a high level. You look at what the results have been, and we still feel good about where he's at. Holmes said he's not one of the guys that have been recently drafted and all that stuff, but that's even better because we have more of a body of work to examine and analyze. He went on to say all those things, you look at all of it. But again, we've done a lot of work. Again, both sides we've done a lot of work. Dialogue's been consistent. There hasn't been just dead periods and all that stuff. We've been talking. And again, I do have faith, though, looking at all the numbers. You got to think about what we can do now and what are the impacts of the future as well. And we look at all of it because we said all along when Dan and I first got here, we're looking to build sustained success, and that's still the goal, which I think is the very, very important part of what he said during the interview. And in my opinion, you look at Brad Holmes and you look at the job he's done, Dan Campbell, and especially with Brad, he's hit on so many draft picks early on. Like guys that weren't just first or second rounders. Like he's hit on all throughout the draft. And there's players that are going to need to be re-signed. Lee McNeil, for example, quick example. He's on the last year of his deal. So you're going to have to keep him around. Aiden Hutchinson, not yet, but in a couple years, you're probably going to make him one of the, if not the highest paid defensive end. It's just how these things work. So when you're Brad Holmes and you're factoring in all of that and free agency and trying to re-sign your own players, and certainly he's a great drafter as it is. So there's probably confidence there. Like, okay, we could probably replace some of these players through the draft if we have to. But for Jared, he deserves a contract extension. Like, I'll just say that. He does. He's earned it the way he's played, the success the Lions have had with Jared Goff, and especially the way he's played, though, not just the success they've had with him. He's played at a top 7 to 8 top 7, 8 quarterback in the NFL level the last 2 years. He's been a Pro Bowler both the years. You know, he's been one of the best quarterbacks, not only in the NFL, but in the NFC, especially the top 2 quarterbacks in the NFC, which again, it's much easier to get worse at quarterback than it is to upgrade, which Brad Holmes has said that before. So he understands, like, hey, we got to keep this guy around. Now, I think the reason it's taken this long, and this is my theory, I don't have inside sources or anything like that. You got to think the length of the contract and the guaranteed money, but also there's so many ways for Brad to kind of construct the contract, that whether you front load it, back load it, what's best. I mean, the Eagles did that with Jalen Hurts, where they kind of back loaded it. So, and Josh Allen, the Bills did that as well, where they gave them a big extension, but they pushed the money back so they could still have a window of capitalizing and signing players. That's why the Eagles were able to sign a lot of players, and that's why the Bills, it caught up to them eventually, But, last couple of years, they've been able to kind of keep the roster together. Now it's catching up to them. So, they're not able to do that, which it always does in these cases when you sign guys to big, large contracts. It's going to catch up to you at some point. You got to keep restructuring, which is something that Brad could do. But for Jared, what money ideally would he probably be commanding? I would lean 45 to 50 in between that number. That's where I'm leaning. I don't think Jared's going to the table like, listen, man, I want to be the highest paid quarterback. At least I hope not, because I would not make him the highest paid quarterback, even though you could argue, hey, it's not always who's the best, it's who's up next, which is fair. I understand that. Like, there's a chance Tua Tagovailoa could be the highest paid quarterback. I don't agree with that, though. That's just my ideology on it. But I do get that argument. I disagree, but I understand in some cases why that would apply. But here's the difference and why I don't agree it applies to Jared. Jared's been in the league for a while. Tua is going to get paid for the first time. So for him, fighting for that highest paid quarterback would be probably something he wants more than probably Jared. I would assume. Like, Jared's made a lot of money. I think he was the highest paid at one point with the Rams. So for Jared, it's about, hey, I want to have success with this team. I also want to get paid. I'm not saying you got to have loyalty to organizations. Trust me, I'm not saying that at all. I think a lot of fans expect players to have loyalty. And I think sometimes, especially quarterbacks, are willing to sacrifice, but I'm on the side of like, man, get your money. Especially with how the NFL operates. Like, they're not giving their advertisers a discount or, any of the TV deals a discount. No. So neither should the players. But for Jared, he's made a lot of money. Amon-Ra St. Brown has not. Penei Sewell, this is his first payday. For Jared, I think it'd be ideal for him to take a little bit of a discount, maybe have a short-term deal. Not that he would want that, but I think it's best for the Lions. I do. Like, if you gave him, he already has a year left, so if you gave him a 2 to 3 year deal, let's say you gave him 2, that's a 3 year deal technically, including this year. You gave him a 3, that's 4 years, including this year. And you guys know my take on Hendon Hooker. Like, I am very high on Hendon. I'm excited for this preseason. I do think he has a lot of talent. And again, for people that are like, Jeff, you're going to gamble on someone that hasn't proven anything? No, I just said extend Jared Goff, but keep in mind who you have also. I trust Brad Holmes in terms of identifying talent. I keep that same energy with quarterbacks. Like, I think Brad Holmes drafting Hendon Hooker, like, clearly they see something in him, and I saw something in him watching him at Tennessee. Like, he's a damn good quarterback. So I think ideally for Brad, it's about, hey, extending Jared Goff, but keeping it flexible. If there is regression, just throwing these out there, just throwing these, ideas out there. If there is regression, you're not stuck. Or if Hendon Hooker's really, really good, you're not stuck. So that's what Brad kind of means there at the end. It's like, we want to have sustained success. We can't make Jared the highest paid quarterback. The rest of the roster, suffers, and now we're in a tough spot. Like, let's be real. Jared understands that. Jared's played at a high level, but let's not forget the situation he's in. It's a great situation. The O-line, it's the best O-line in the league. The run game, I would say the best running back tandem in the league. I mean, we're talking Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta. I would say the best 1 or 2 tight end in the league. He's not Travis Kelce, but he's right behind him in terms of up-and-coming tight ends. He's right there. So you have Sam Laporta. Amon-Ra St. Brown is a top 5 receiver in the NFL. So it's a damn good situation. If I'm Jared Goff, I'm willing to take a discount to play with these guys. Absolutely. So it's not even me like, hey, Jared, take it. You don't deserve to get paid. No, I think he does. But there's got to be a line that's drawn in the sand where it's like, hey, we're going to pay you, but also we're not losing what we have around you, because we know how much it benefits you and would benefit any quarterback for that matter. It's not just a shot. It's not just going at Jared Goff. Ideally, you want to keep this offense intact. I mean, especially with Ben Johnson while he's still here. But that's my kind of take on it. Extend Jared. Give him a shorter term deal. That's what I would do. I'm not saying a 1 year deal, even though it would be 2 years technically, but I'm talking 2 to 3. Give him a 2 to 3 year deal and backload the money. So it allows you to continue to go all in, or front load it. If you feel like, hey, we have money available, we'll front load it. And then when Aiden Hutchinson and them are due for an extension, it'll be cheaper. However Brad feels it's necessary, I have no problem with it. But Jared Goff absolutely has to get extended. Like, I don't want to beat around that bush. It'd be idiotic if he wasn't. You can't let a guy go into the last year of his deal. And you don't want to franchise tag him because it's all guaranteed money, and that'll just screw up your cap. So I expect this to get done. Brad Holmes expects it to get done. And they just got to iron out some details, whether it's length, guaranteed money, incentives, whatever it is. They got to iron it out. And I think they will before the season. And I think Jared Goff will be in Detroit for a long time. But what are your guys' thoughts on it? Why do you think it's taken so long? Because I gave you my theory. I think it's length. The amount of years. I think that factors in. And maybe the yearly salary. What the number is. Because guys care about that. The guaranteed money. Where do I rank among other quarterbacks? Like it matters to players. Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe. We're at 6.5 thousand thanks to you guys. We're trying to get to 10,000. So we appreciate you for all your support. And don't forget, tune into our live show, 8 to 10 p.m. every single day. Until next time, I'll catch you guys.